Welcome to the Right Place podcast, where we learn with you how to navigate the world by building connections that matter, relationships that last, and businesses that thrive. My name is John Watson, and today I'm joined by a remarkable guest and future Clara Business Network guest speaker, Tina B. Hello, Tina. It is wonderful to talk to you today. How has 2024 started for you so far?
Wow, busy. Very, very busy. Thank you, John, for having me here today. It's an absolute honor and a privilege, but yeah, it's been a busy one. I actually hail from KZN, so I had to move all my furniture down here. I had to find a place to stay. Yeah, relying on friends and keeping on couches and people's spare rooms. But yeah, I'm finally in my spot and settled.
And what prompted the change, the move from KZN to Cape Town?
Everything's shinier in Cape Town. No, really. Yeah, I just felt I didn't have enough of a network up in Durban. You know, I spent all of my time and I was never in corporate because I spent most of my time in bed being sick. And then I had to learn who I was as a well person. So I just felt that maybe Cape Town would be a fresh new start.
And so, Tina, you are a speaker, a coach, and an inspiration to many people, and we'll dive into your story shortly. Are you in your right place now in 2024? Are you doing what you want to be doing and using your life the way you feel I was born to do this?
Yes, absolutely. I think I'm not doing exactly what I want just yet, but I'm getting there. And I'm loving what I'm doing.
So, Tina, for those that don't know, you're one of 6 recipients in South Africa of a heart and double lung transplant, and the longest surviving recipient to date.
I was the 6th person in the country to be transplanted, but there have been subsequent transplants since then. And however, there have been less than 10 of that type of transplant in the country.
No, it's a very rare thing that you went through. I think anyone that has gone through something like that, you can't even convey what it is because it's incomprehensible to other people. It's not a broken arm or a broken leg or an amputation or anything like that. It's a totally different ballgame.
Yeah, it is.
So Tina, your health journey has been your life journey from the day that you were born. They're all intertwined. You've had your health issues. The doctors said it would be a miracle if you made it to this age, then to this age, and you plowed through all of that. When did you make that mind shift change that no matter what happens, I'm just going to keep going? Obviously, there were setbacks along the way. You couldn't participate in everything that you wanted to do. How did you and when did you make those mind shift changes?
Born that way. I knew from a young age that I was different, but I never saw my illness as, I never felt sorry for myself, if you know what I mean. And I never thought there was nothing I couldn't do until all of a sudden I couldn't do it. So, I think I owe a lot of that to my parents. Both my parents are very, very positive people. They're very determined, and they see problems as challenges to be overcome or problems to be solved. They don't ever think that they can't do anything. And I think I owe a lot of that mindset to my parents. Yeah.
And Tina, where are you in terms of your health nowadays? Are you fine? Are you still struggling with anything? What is the prognosis in 20?
So I'm as well as I've ever been. I'm as strong as I've ever been. I'm possibly not as fit as I've ever been. But I'm really a well person. I remember my doctor said to me at one stage, "I never see you. You look more well than my normal patient." So yeah, I am exceptionally well. Obviously, I have to work within my limitation because I have absolutely no immune system. So I have to be very careful. COVID was very scary for me. I have to be very careful with regards to germ and infection and being in large rooms full of people. But I manage. I have a system that helps me manage.
So there's nothing that you can't do.
I'm not allowed to do any contact sport. for obvious various reasons, because obviously my heart and lungs are not connected in all the places that they need to be. So they sit a little bit loose. So they're only connected up to a few major points, and everything else is loose. So I have to be very careful about bumps and jumps and hits and scrapes and things like that.
Tina, now the doctor that looked after you, Dr. Robbie Kleinwer, he's obviously a very special person in your life. He walked a very long path with you, and I think over 150 other patients that received transplants and other operations there in KZN. What is your current relationship with him? Do you still have contact with him? Do you still reach out? Tell us a bit more about that.
I would say I have a very special relationship with all the members of my team. So my cardiologist had been looking after me since I was 8 years old, and that was Dr. David Gilner. Unfortunately, he passed away last year. But him and I were very, very close. And then obviously Robbie, who's the surgeon, him and I are also really close. He did my first pacemaker operation when I was 13. He brought me back. They resuscitated me in the hospital. So between the two of them, we were very, very close-knit team. And then later on, as I got thicker and thicker and sort of transplant became more and more prevalent and to the forefront, so came in the transplant coordinator, Cindy Goldie, and she's the one that finds the organs, gets alerted about the organs. She's the one that fights for me to get the organs, those sorts of things. So, yeah, absolutely. They're not my medical team. They are my friend.
Now, Tina, I put my name down as an organ donor in my university days, more than 20 years ago. I sometimes wish it was mandatory to be an organ donor, especially in a country like South Africa. But I understand people have mixed feelings about this. What are some of the misconceptions about organ donation in South Africa?
Firstly, thank you very much, John, for signing up to be a donor and thinking beyond yourself. So being an organ donor doesn't mean that people are going to chase you if you're in the hospital for your organs. There are very specific criteria, and you have to be pronounced brain dead by 2 separate doctors that evaluate you. So which means that your brain is, although your body is keeping you alive, your brain is no longer thinking or responding. So you are very much not there anymore, even although your body is still working. I know there've been movies and things like that where, and there was a story in KZN as well where sort of organs were for sale to sort of the highest bidder and things like that. Those are horror stories. That doesn't happen on a daily basis. And in fact, the sale and trading of organs for money is actually illegal in most countries, especially South Africa. So yeah, it's not. I find that a lot of people that have become donors or donated their family members' organs have found a lot of peace in it, because it means that their death wasn't for nothing. Mm-hmm. And like I say, I mean, you can save up to 7 lives with just solid organ transplants, and even more than that if you donate things like if you donate tissue, so things like cornea and skin. And I donated my heart valves from my old heart.
Look, I'm a big proponent for organ donation. I've read wonderful stories of people saving multiple lives. In the midst of tragedy, there is life. In the midst of somebody's darkest moment, you're rescuing someone's child or family member, and all it requires is you to fill out a form. There's nothing else. It doesn't cost you anything. And obviously, once you're gone, you're gone. So I think it's in the best interest of people, because you never know. It might be yourself. It might be yourself lying there. And if there isn't a donation available, who knows what could have happened. So I'm always a big proponent for it. Now, Tina, after your big transplant operation and a few years after that, you reached out to your transplant coordinator and you want to contact the family of the person that you received the heart and the lungs from. Tell us a little bit about that process and what eventually happened in that story, and was it the right thing to do from your point of view and from their side as well?
So it's quite a long, involved process. And especially in this country, for various psychological reasons and things have gone a little bit awry with other people that have met, they don't encourage it. Because, yeah, it can get odd. It can get awkward for both sides. But I had always said to Cindy that I wanted to meet them or make contact with them if they were keen. And I mean, it was her job to communicate that to their transplant coordinator. I don't know if the message ever got to them. But I didn't want to do it straight away because they needed to mourn the loss of their child. So I eventually, after 8 years post my transplants, and I was like, no, that's not okay. I actually want to see them. And I was going to go and plant a rose in a memorial garden in Johannesburg in Hartton. And I wanted them to be there. And that's how it started.
It's amazing. I think it's a very special moment. I think it's a moment that only someone that's been in your position would actually comprehend, that someone else's part of them out of tragedy has given you life and given you many years of life. Remember, the doctors had almost written you off and said, it's not going to happen. Tina's not going to make it this age. And now, multiple years later, you are sitting here, your heart is beating, your lungs are working, which is just incredible.
Yeah, it all the emotions, all the emotions, all in one moment. It was incredible. I have never, ever, ever, ever been so nervous and apprehensive and scared to meet anybody in my whole life. Because at the end of the day, of how do I stand here in front of them when their child isn't here? But at the end of the day, I'm so glad that I did it, because they are the most incredible people, and they feel that they've gained a daughter, although they've lost one of their beautiful children. They have gained another through me, and we're in contact often. They have a farm in Berkeley East, and I went to go and my partner and I would go and stay with them a weekend, and we had the most magical time. It was like we'd always known each other. It was really, really very special. And I know a lot of transplant recipients don't have that privilege.
And I think a special journey that you've been on, and also how you've used that to inspire other people, how you've used that to become a surgery coach, how you've used that to coach and talk to other people. I think that is testament to how serious you took this massive area in your life, which is your whole life, and how you've used it for good. So I think they can be incredibly proud of you. You've done something with it. You haven't sat in front of the TV and eaten knickknacks. You have made something of it. It's not just a second chance at life. It's multiple chances at life to do something good. So that's incredibly special to see.
Thank you, John. I appreciate that. Yeah, I live each day in honor of Colleen's, the 17-year-old girl that they mother. She had dreams and plans for her future, and although I might not be living her dreams and her plan, I will for the rest of my life continue to honor her and do absolutely everything that I can to make sure that she didn't leave this earth for absolutely no.
Thank you, Tina. That's very special. Tina, are you involved actively with the Organ Donor Foundation of South Africa? Do you participate in any of the events or talks or anything like that currently?
Yes, I do. I often attend their events when I get the invite. And in fact, there's actually a link on our website for people who want to sign up as organ donors. So there's a link on my site to them so that they can sign up as organ donors through my site. So yeah, I've worked with them on several occasions.
No, look, I'm a big fan of theirs, and anything I can do to allay people's fears about organ donation, I'll gladly do that as well. I think it's something very important. So Tina, let's look ahead to you speaking at the upcoming Clara Business Network. Your topic is Live While You're Alive. I think we know a little bit about your backstory, but what else are you looking to convey to the audience and show them on the night?
So many of us are just well, I don't know if we're even living, we're surviving, we're existing. We're so busy trying to make their money and pay for the school fees and pay for the bond and just be able to survive. And, load shedding and prices are going up and all of those sorts of things. And people get so stuck in trying to survive that they forget to actually live. And the fact is that you are alive and life is short, very short, shorter than we will ever anticipate. And it's so important to take the time to actually enjoy yourself and enjoy life and have some fun and rest when you need to and don't overwork yourself. There's such a pandemic of stress and burnout and people on antidepressants and all of that sort of thing because we are so busy existing instead of actually living. And so that's what my talk is about. It's about encouraging others to take life by the horns and actually live it and appreciate it and live your dreams, because we all have dreams. And yet so many of us waste our dreams surviving instead of living. I hope to add value in people's lives. And I also do, as a coach, I do a lot of sort of energy management and how to manage your energy and for you to decide what is absolutely important to you and give your energy to those things rather than the things that are sapping you of energy and not feeding yourself.
I think there are a lot more people than we realize that are just existing. I think especially in today's day and age where everyone is overwhelmed, social media is an animal, AI is taking over, the busyness of life gets to people. So you think you're an island and it's only me struggling through this, but your next door neighbors, your family, your friends are going through just as much. And I think maybe the more we talk about it, the more we exchange ideas and what works and how to shut things down and how to almost disconnect from the busyness. And let's enjoy life. Let's enjoy living in Cape Town. Let's enjoy KZN. Let's enjoy living in a beautiful country like South Africa. Let's enjoy our children. Let's enjoy these special moments and just stop being so crazy busy all the time.
Absolutely. And it's also about adding value to the people in your own life, because we're so expectant and we want other people to add value to our lives, but are you adding value to the lives of people around you? And that's the other side of living. It's be valuable. And we all are valuable.
So, Tina, when you had gone through your journey, when did it start becoming a thing like, I need to share this, or you've got an amazing story? What was that process like, going from the tragedy, the transplant, and now you're basically a new human being? When did you become a speaker? Did someone challenge you to speak? Did you want to go and talk to people about it? What was that like?
I've always been a sharer, if you will. My dad is a phenomenal storyteller, and so is my grandfather. And I think I have a little bit of that gene. But right from a young age, I wanted to be on the stage, and I took drama in high school and all of those sorts of things. I think that was kind of inherent in me and my nature. But the first time I ever spoke to a big crowd was actually in high school. And I'd been asked by the religious studies teacher to address the school during break and tell them my story and give my testimony of about my faith and how it was getting me through my situation, of what I was going through. And I had a great response from that. And so I don't know if I always knew that I was going to share my story. I think that only came later, but I always knew that I wanted to speak about things. I think after spending so much time lying in bed and contemplating death and life and what if I was well one day, I found I had a lot of time to plan and to dream. And it became very clear to me that I was going through what I was going through for a reason. And that reason was to help and inspire others. And yeah, I'm now doing that. Hopefully.
No, that's amazing, Tina. I've been quoting Stephen Colbert, the famous US talk show host, quite a few times, where he was talking to Anderson Cooper, and he said, you need to get to that point one day in your life where you are grateful for the worst thing that ever happened to you, because that is part of your life, and maybe that is what someone else needs to hear. You need to share that. You need to convey what worked for you, or you need to share the lessons learned, or how you dealt with that burden, or something like that. You can't just wish it away and wish it away and wish it away. It happened. It's part of you. It is you. It's part of your story. And so if you can use that to inspire other people, to help them, you never know what that will mean to them. They've never met someone like you. You're going through what they're going through or something similar. And you just sharing that story can activate so many positives for other people that it's going to be really bad if you don't do it.
Yeah, I think not just sharing the story, but sharing the lessons. So everyone goes through bad stuff. Everyone has a trauma of some kind. Everyone has lost. Everyone has problems and issues and difficulties. But the important part is to never lose sight of the fact that what are you learning from this? Because you will learn more from your trials and your tribulations than you ever will from your success. So, yeah, I think, especially as a speaker and a coach, you've got to actively think about what are you learning in this situation. What is the world or God trying to teach you? And I decided that I've never been the most patient person, and I was waiting for a life-saving transplant, and I decided I was being taught patience. And so now I have a lot more patience.
So a surgery coach, what does that actually mean, and who are the people that you help? I guess we're talking more about major surgery than minor surgeries, right?
So any kind of surgery done, I've spent a lot of time in hospital and preparing for major surgery. Sometimes I haven't been able to prepare. And yeah, my job is to help those people who have been told that they need a surgery of any kind to have the best experience possible, especially for people that have been well all their lives and have never really been into a hospital themselves. And it can be terrifying because they've been well all their lives, and now they're told that there's something so massively wrong that they need to go into hospital and give control of their body to a team of other people that they've never met before, in all likelihood. And if they have, it's been like a checkup and an assessment, and then they tell you that you need the surgery. And it can be knee surgery or having your appendix out, or big things like heart bypasses and transplants. So I offer strategies, tools, and tips, and then also support. So support for you, like if you're having a panic attack, and I offer the support for your family as well, your friends, with the spouses and the children as well. And I give them updates on what's going on and how you might be feeling. And I also try and be a go-between, because a lot of the time, especially when you've been diagnosed with a terminal kind of illness, everyone's trying to be brave for everybody else, and no one's actually really thinking about what's really going on. And then I'll try and explain to both sides what's going on in each other's head.
I had my own experience with my mom in hospital before she passed away last year. And the challenge that I found is you'll spend 5 or 10 minutes with the doctor, but then you're at the hospital for 10 hours. You don't know what's going on. The nursing staff change. You don't know what the charts mean. You don't know what to do with yourself. You kind of go out of your mind, and you think in worst case scenario, and then you get some good news and it's best case scenario. And it's a bit of, no one prepares you for it. You just slumped, you just thrown into hospital. And you have to kind of find your own way, because I mean, the staff are busy. The staff have got other patients to look after. So I think it's wonderful that there is an option to get someone in as a surgery coach, just to walk the path with you. Because also family members, they've also got jobs. They've got to fetch the kids. They've got to do this, that, and the other. They don't have necessary time to care for one another. They're trying to, just keep things afloat while a family member is in hospital. So I think it's a wonderful thing that you're doing, and I think it's definitely necessary, and I think people can get a lot of value out of it.
Thank you. Yeah, it especially with, like you say, with your mom in the hospital, and you're also trying to keep your family going, and you've got obligations, and you've got work, and you've got children, and you've got a spouse, and then you've got this very traumatic thing happening in the hospital on the other side, and it, like you said, you see the doctor for 10 minutes, and then you're waiting in the hospital for 10 hours. No one knows what's going on, and no one can tell you very much. And they're like, oh, it's all in the chart, or like, it's all going to be good to you. Yeah, it's hard to spend that time and what's likely to be happening next, and all of those sorts of things, and how to have the best experience in hospital. So I have like great tips on how to get on foster and who to make friends with so that your stay is better and all of those types of things.
So Tina, you and I have met over the last year at a couple of different networking events. What does networking mean to you and to your career as a speaker and a coach?
I am not a networker. I don't value connection. I value relationship, and I'm looking for friends. I want to be able to make connections with people that are real, with people that are not trying to be anything else. I can add value to those people. I can offer them support. I can be a friend to them. I can listen to them. I'm a great listener. And I can inspire them. And that's how I add value, is I'm a great friend. And I'm looking for friends. And that, to me, my network may not necessarily be people that I can sell my services to, but maybe I can introduce you to another one of my friends, and you guys can have a mutually beneficial relationship. That's how I view networking. I'm looking for friends.
No, that's wonderful. I love that take, that you're not looking just for the connections. I mean, we can collect connections and contacts all day long, but it's going to be pretty meaningless when the rubber hits the road and you need to get something done, or you need some support and you don't have that relationship to rely on. I've seen that in my life. I've seen that in other people's lives. You need friendships. You need those relationships to build one another up, to bounce ideas off one another, and to add value to one another. I was actually speaking to my podcast collaborator the other day, Rudolf, and we were talking about the need for just having a few people where you can share ideas to, you can add value, and you're adding value to me, I'm adding value to you, and you build one another up. You walk this journey with other.
Absolutely, that's exactly what it's about. And you might never use my services, but you know what? You and I can add value to each other in just having a conversation. And I'm a big tea drinker, so a lot of people go for coffee. I like to go for tea. And there's so many friends that I've made over just having a cup of tea. And then that's you adding value to my life and me adding value to yours. And that's what we have for them.
Awesome, Tina. No, I love that approach. I'm fully on board with that. Tina, before we wrap up, how is the rest of 2024 looking for you? What is in store for Tina B, your coaching, your speaking? What are you focusing on the rest of the year?
Sure. There is so much happening this year. Just with as far as training, speaking goes, we've got a couple of courses that we're launching this year. We've launched our Speaking on Camera course. We're launching our MC course at the end of, next week. And then we've also got a How to Write Your Story course coming up. And then, I'm working on a brand new talk at the moment, which I'm giving next week for an international audience, which I'm really, really excited about how AI ties into my story, and if I would have gotten the transplant that I had, if AI had been doing the choosing. So really busy, exciting year ahead.
Thank you so much. Tina, I think we're going to wrap it up there. It's been inspirational to talk to you today. I always enjoy bumping into you. Thank you very much. Looking forward to your talk at the CBN. Appreciate your time, and yeah, I really wish you all the best for 2024, and just may it be a year of growth and very special things coming your way.
Thank you very much. My word for this year is explosion. So exploding everywhere, I hope. Thank you very much.
Awesome, Tina. Thank you so much. And thanks to all the listeners.